the PBA League Draft Selection Show on Xtra Frame. Brought to you by Ebonite, Bowl to Win. And by Storm, the Bowlers Company. And by Brunswick. And by Motive Bowling. And hello again, everybody. Historic day out here on the PBA Tour, the first ever PBA League Draft Selection Show. We've got the 8 franchise players all ready to make their picks. Mike Flanagan, and you could feel the tension in the air.
Absolutely. All the players have their laptops out. They've been asking for wireless passwords. Some have ball reps up there, and there's been a lot of talk here at the World Series of Bowling about this unbelievable PBA, one-of-a-kind, first-time ever league draft.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how long the show's going to take. We may be here a while. They've got 90 seconds to make each of their picks. They've got to go through their lists, and they have the list of eligible players. We'll get interviews with the players as they make the picks, and hopefully with some of the players that they actually select. So, historic day. How about now we meet the players? Ashley Galante is going to take us through all of the franchise players.
All right.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Galante. Welcome to the PBA League Draft. Now it is time to meet the 8 franchise players.
Thanks, Ashley. Picking first is PBA Hall of Famer Norm Duke. Duke won 3 titles last season, bringing his career total to 37. Only Walter Ray Williams and Earl Anthony have won more. With the number 1 pick, the bowling legend from Claremont, Florida gets to choose anyone he wants from the pool of eligible players. In the number 2 spot is yet another all-time great, the fiery Pete Weber. Out of his 36 career wins, none were more memorable than his U.S. Open victory over Mike Fagan last season. And who could forget his post-match celebration when he coined the phrase, "Who do you think you are? I am." Next in our lineup is the real deal Bill O'Neill. Despite making just 1 TV appearance last season, O'Neill's consistency was enough to rank him among the top 8 in points, and now he'll get to choose 3rd in the draft. O'Neill's last win came in the 2009 U.S. Open, and he's looking to get back in the winner's circle again this season. Australian star Jason Belmonte will pick 4th. The talented two-hander won 3 titles last season, and then another in the AMF Australian Masters last month. He also rolled the 21st perfect 300 game on television during the PBA World Championship Finals in 2011. With the number 5 pick is the king of swing, Mike Fagan. The stylish 3-time champion won his first career major title last season in the USBC Masters and nearly took home PBA Player of the Year honors in one of the closest races in the history of the PBA Tour. Picking 6th is PBA Player of the Year Sean Rash. Sean's incredible season was highlighted with a win in the season-ending PBA Tournament of Champions, and he led the tour in nearly every statistical category, including earnings, average, and points. Triple Crown winner Chris Barnes will pick 7th in this year's draft. The 14-time PBA champion rolled just the 22nd televised 300 in PBA history to highlight his 2011-2012 season. His most recent title came just a few weeks back in the Columbia 300 Vienna Open. And with the 8th and final pick in the draft is Osku Palermo. The two-hander from Finland has 3 career titles, highlighted by his win in the PBA World Championship last season. Osku is considered the most powerful power player on the PBA Tour, and it will be interesting to see who he picks on his team to complement his devastating strike ball.
Now that we've met the 8 franchise players, let's go inside and see who they pick.
And we are back here at the South Point And we are about ready to start, Mike Flanagan. I'm feeling the tension. I'm actually a little nervous. I haven't been nervous on the air for a while, even when all that crazy World Championship position round was going on last night.
Yeah, what unbelievable action we've seen all week here at South Point. And, you know, Norm Duke's been on the clock for over a week.
Yeah.
He hasn't told anybody who he's going to select.
That's right. And we're about to find out who his pick is. We're going to throw it over to Mike J. Laneside now, who's out on the floor with all the players and Commissioner Tom Clark.
To the South Point Bowling Center for the first ever PBA League Draft. Mike J. Laneside for Xtra Frame online bowling channel. Let's get things started. It's time now to meet the commissioner of the PBA Tour, Mr. Tom Clark.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mike. Thanks a lot, Mike. Thanks for everybody for being here. This is really, really exciting. Welcome to the first ever, the inaugural PBA League Draft. It's a new chapter in the great PBA history. Just a few thanks before we get started. Thanks, first of all, to our new CEO, Jeff Reese, and the PBA ownership group. Also to Chris Paul and his family. Without those people I just mentioned, this would not be possible. I want to give some thanks to our sponsors, including the PBA product registered companies. Thanks very much to South Point for hosting this draft and also for hosting a truly great World Series of bowling. For most of you. Because I wanted you to do better, Norm. And most of all, thank you to our fans, especially those watching live right now on Xtra Frame. Already, this new PBA League has grabbed a lot of national attention. Just this week, USA Today, ESPN's Pardon the Interruption, ESPN.com, the Associated Press, the Washington Post, the Sports Business Daily, everybody has been talking about this new league and the great players and the great new owners of our teams. All right. This is it. The draft order of the eight teams was determined by a draft lottery of the franchise players for each one of those teams. The first, and I just want to remind you that the first PBA League competition will be January 27th on ESPN from Detroit's Thunderbolt. I'm here today with Deputy Commissioner Kirk Von Kruger, and the way we'll work this is the pick will be submitted to Kirk, be approved by the PBA, and then announced. Each team will get 90 seconds to make their selection. There'll be 5 rounds. And they'll make their selection from a list of eligible PBA members. So, without further ado, Norm Duke, you have the first pick, and you are on the clock.
There's a look at the shot clock, Mike Flanagan, and Norm Duke. Everyone has 90 seconds to be able to make their pick. Looks like Norm's got it already.
Is it going to be Mika? Is it going to be Tommy Jones? Or somebody we would not anticipate?
Okay, pretty historic moment. With the first pick in the PBA League Draft, Norm Duke selects Rhino Page.
Wow. Rhino Page, Jason Thomas.
Norm Duke, you kept this under wraps. You've been on the clock for a week. A lefty goes early.
Yeah, that's my strategy. Is I figure every team needs to have a lefty representative, and I wanted to get one out of the gate that had a lot of team experience. Yeah, he does that. He's a great player to put in the 10th frame. I thought that even though Mika and Wes were
Pete Weber,
great picks,
you were on the clock.
I just had to go with Rhino, secure that lefty early.
Jason Thomas, Mike Flanagan, we have the first pick, Rhino Page, and now Pete Weber is on the clock.
Thank you, Mike J. And a lot of people were speculating about other players going first, but I've heard rumors that Rhino and...
Okay, we can move pretty quickly
there we
here.
go.
The second pick is in
It's
from
in already.
Pete Weber. The second pick in the PBA League Draft to Pete Weber's team is Tommy Jones.
Pete Weber, a lot of the speculation early was that this was going to be another selection of teams along ball company lines. Early, that is not the case. You go with Player of the Year, Tommy Jones.
Well, you know, it's tough not to take Tommy Jones. He's always been a great player. I respect him a lot. He's a good team player. And what can I say? He's Tommy Jones. He's been around for a while now, and I like the way he throws it. I liked his experience out here, and you know, it was either him or Mika, so Tommy goes first.
Pete, the Weber boys, no strangers to team competition, and Dick Weber, no stranger to team competition.
Dad more so, not so much me. I just did the GEICO stuff, and but you know, Dad was an anchor man of the Budweiser, and there was no tougher spot than that.
Pete Weber has made the selection of Tommy Jones, and we have our first two picks. Jason Thomas, back to you.
All right, thanks, Mike J. And this is moving pretty fast and furious, Mike Flanagan.
The first round's going to, but Rhino Page was a huge
Bill
shocker
O'Neill
pick.
is on the clock.
Well, you got to believe O'Neill here is going to take Mika. Or could he take Dan McClellan, who comes from Saginaw Valley State University, where O'Neill was an All-American and Collegiate Player of the Year, as McClellan followed in his footsteps.
Yeah, looks like he's already made the pick, and let's go over to Tom Clark.
They're having a blast up there with this, too.
Okay, to Bill O'Neill's team, with the third pick in the PBA League Draft, Bill O'Neill selects Mika Koivuniemi.
Bill,
Jason Belmonte
it was
is on the
expected
clock.
that Mika was going to go in the first three picks. You made it happen. Your reasoning for picking Major Mika?
I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, Mika is one of the the best bowlers in the world, and it was either between for me it was either between him and Wes, and it was a tough choice, but I went with Mika.
And of course, your collegiate team career, part of what propelled you into the PBA Tour. How much are you looking forward to putting this team together and hitting the lanes once again as a team?
Team competition is always really fun, and you try to put together the best team possible, and team chemistry means a lot, and Meek and I are pretty good friends, so I think that's going to help.
Oh yeah,
Three picks down, Jason Thomas. Like the action yesterday during the PBA World Championship, it's coming fast and furious here. The new PBA League, and our number 4 pick is coming up next.
I'll remind everyone, I could have reminded everyone earlier, this is a serpentine draft, so the 8th selection, the 9th selection will also be made by the 8th pick person, and we'll go back around the draft and back to the front.
Well, getting down to the yellow letters there, Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
Only 15 seconds left.
Jason Belmonte taking a little while here.
Yeah.
I got to believe he's going to go with Wes Malott.
Yeah, he's got his pick in, and we'll find out in just a second.
Or
who it
Ryan
is.
Schaefer, possibly. The commissioner is awfully giddy today. He is excited about this.
This is awesome. This is a fun show.
This is Belmont. Okay, with the 4th pick in the PBA League Draft, Jason Belmonte selects Wes Malott.
With the tournament leader for the PBA World Championship, 5-time PBA Tour champion Jason Belmonte. And Jason, you put Wes down for that first pick.
Yeah, well, I figured, if we all get into a fight on the lanes, I just pick the biggest guy out there to have my back. No, look, honestly, he's one of the greatest players I've ever seen. He bowls well on anything and everything. Easy, hard, scores are always high. He does really well in team competitions. I've bowled with him multiple times. We've won together. It made perfect sense. And, I just hope he doesn't mind being on my team.
Hey, I noticed the paperwork on your desk. How much preparation did you do in preparation for this draft?
Yeah, look, everything's in the top of my head, Mike. I'm just kind of, I know the top 40 guys. I know the order I want them. Once that they get read out, they just go off my list. There's really no, it's just all business, I guess you could say. I think once you start throwing friendships in there and you start jeopardizing the team, and that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to do the best I can and obviously give the guys who I pick the best possible chance to win. So, yeah, that's how I'm looking at it.
That's Jason Belmonte, and who can argue Malott and Belmonte in the 9th and 10th of any Baker lineup? Bowling Guy, back to you.
All right, thanks, Mike J.
Mike Fagan, you have been on the clock for the last 50 seconds. I hope he's right. That we were clocking there. Who's next up?
So the clock about to expire here.
What happens if it expires? I don't think.
I think since it's the first
they have
draft,
to bowl 4?
Yeah, they have to roll off.
Okay, with the 5th pick in the PBA League Draft, Mike Fagan selects Tom Smallwood. Sean Rash, you're on the clock.
Wow, that might have affected Rash's pick there, Mr. Flanagan. Tom Smallwood would be a guy I would think Rash would want to go with first, but I would guess now he's going to pick Mr. Simonelli, his fellow Brunswick staffer.
That's who I have going to Rash here is Simonelli. And Dan McClellan, another great name available, but I know Rash really, really highly touted Ryan Schaefer, so we'll see.
Yeah, and it looks like Mike J is over there with Mike Fagan.
Thanks, guys, with Mike Fagan, the king of swing, and Smallwood, really the breakout star of the first World Series of bowling. I'm sure that played into your decision-making.
Absolutely, Mike. I mean, Tom has a fantastic record at Thunder Bowl, and he's just he's one of those guys. When he has it, he's extremely tough to beat, probably unbeatable, and he's proved that he has it in that building, and he's had a world championship in that building, so I'm glad to have him on my team.
And Smallwood not only performing well in Detroit at that first World Series, but he's backed it up over the last several years.
He also made the top 4 at our Xtra Frame event there last year. I mean, he's just he's a no-brainer in my opinion.
So it's Fagan and Smallwood on Team Fagan, and things are starting to get interesting as we get a little deeper along the player list. Mike Flanagan, Bowling Guy, back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, back in the red again. Here, looks like another pick coming in fast and furious.
Yeah, Sean Rash. Look for Schaefer here.
Again?
Sean set off the shot clock. Shot clock violation.
Notice Sean has Chuck Gardner here with him, helping him make his selections. And now Tommy's sitting with Pete Weber. Interesting.
Okay, with the 6th pick in the PBA League Draft, Sean Rash selects Ryan Simonelli. Chris Barnes is on the clock.
Thankfully, there's no shot clock violations in the PBA League Draft.
Well, no. Team Brunswick has always been about being a team, and I picked Ryan Simonelli. He's been the best left-hander on tour for the last 3 seasons. We have great chemistry together. We know how to work well together. When our ball rep Chuck Gardner's there or Brian Graham, we know how to communicate, and I know that when I need a shot, he's there for me. And he's a great young man. He's got a great future in front of him, and I look forward to being with him on the team.
Sean, how does your experience on Team USA play into your building for this team?
Well, it's not just Team USA. I was fortunate to bowl for Wichita State, Team USA, and then our the GEICO Summer Shootout with Team Brunswick. And communication is everything. And you got to be able to rely on one another. You got to be positive, and you want the best team possible. And Ryan Simonelli is definitely one of the best players in the world right now.
Ball rep Chuck on the truck. Chuck Gardner. Chuck, a couple lefties going early here.
Yeah, It's kind of interesting. Left didn't do very well there, except for Ryan. But it's interesting. The bowling center hadn't played that good on the left, but I still think it's a great pick, and Sean's got a plan, so looking forward to it.
2 more picks left in the first round. Back to the booth.
All right, thanks, Mike J. And
Chris Barnes is on the clock.
With the 7th pick of the PBA League Draft, Chris Barnes selects Dominic Barrett. The 8th and 9th picks go to Oscar Palermo, and he's on the clock.
Chris, the Englishman, Dom Barrett, on your team. I notice you put a lot of work in. Why Dom?
Well, Dom's been one of the hottest and youngest players on the tour for a long time, and he just keeps getting better every time I see him. We saw him a lot over in the Weber Cup, and when he gets it going, he has the ability to win any given tournament. And, I want that ability on my team, for sure.
And you've got that same team experience, Wichita State, World Team Challenge, Team USA. As a head coach and as a player coach, just your basic impression on how do you want to set your team up?
Well, I want guys that can bowl on all the patterns and have the ability to win at any given time. That's going to be difficult to do as you get further down into the draft, but there's probably still some gems in there, and particularly some guys that bowl well in the centers that we're going to bowl in. So I'm going to try and find the guys that I think can do that there.
It's Barrett and Barnes, 1 more pick in the first round.
All right. Thanks, Mike J.
Well, Osku here gets a double pick, Jason Thomas, and he talked about going international, and with Dom Barrett off the board, I look for Stuart Williams to be a possible pick here, definitely with the double pick. Also maybe a guy like Andres Gomez. I actually had on my mock draft, I had Dom Barrett going to Chris Barnes in the first round and Simonelli going to Rash. Norm Duke really changed the entire draft by taking Rhino Page first. Nobody saw that coming. Looks like the picks are in.
All right. Let's head over to Tom
Okay,
Clark.
with the final pick of the first round of the inaugural PBA League Draft, the 8th selection to Oscar Palermo is Martin Larson.
Yeah, Mike J can't interview Osku right now because he's got to pick again, Mike.
You want us to go with? We're ready with the 9th pick. We're ready with the 9th pick. And Osku is ready with the 9th pick of the draft and his 2nd selection to his team. With that 9th pick goes to Dan McClelland. Chris Barnes is on the clock.
With the twin fin, Oscar Palermo. Oscar, you got 2 picks in this. A lot of folks speculated you were going to go with an all-international team. You've got 1 from Sweden and 1 from Canada, so that's holding steady. Your reasons for your 2 picks?
Well, that's the best 2 I've seen left. I know I've been at the place before, so kind of know what works there. And Martin did good there, and Danny Mac's hot right now, so the obvious picks.
The obvious picks from Oscar Palermo, the very first pick in the Serpentine. He got the last pick of the first round, the first pick of the second round, and already a strong international foundation for Team Palermo. Back to the booth.
All right. Thanks, Mike J. And that looks like a strong team right out of the gate for Osku. And he's the only player so far that's had 2 picks. And
okay, with the 10th pick of the PBA League Draft, Chris Barnes selects Josh Blanchard. Sean Rash is on the clock.
little Wichita connection there, Mr. Flanagan.
Yeah, well, we knew that Chris was looking for shot makers and guys that can grind it out and play on many different conditions, and definitely Josh Blanchard fits that. You know, Barnes selects Barrett, and now Blanchard. He's got a really good start to his team, and now Blanchard's actually going to join Chris Barnes at the table.
All right, Mike J's over there with Scott Norton. He's waiting to be drafted, and take it away, Mike J.
Thanks, guys. Scott, a couple lefties going early. How nerve-wracking is it sitting around waiting?
Well, it's a little nerve-wracking, but, you know, it's kind of not in my hands, so I just leave it up to them.
Hey, big performance from you in this World Series of Bowling, opportunity to once again appear on ESPN. Your thoughts about this and looking forward to appearing on TV once again?
I'm just really happy to have had a great week again and to be able to compete on TV, and this is all just icing on the cake. I was hoping to come out here and have a good week and actually kind of raise my stock a little bit, so hopefully I did that, but only time will tell.
Hey, the picked and the yet to be picked, it's all developing right here at South Point during the very first PBA League Draft. Back to the booth.
That's the really cool thing about this, Mike, is these guys actually want to be picked. They're excited. They want to know which round they're going to go in. It's almost like college kids, in the NBA draft. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you betcha. Scott Norton, I know he's looking forward to getting in this thing, and I expect him to go somewhere in the 3rd round.
Okay, with the 11th pick in the PBA League Draft, Sean Rash selects Ryan Schaefer. Mike Fagan is on the clock.
He's going with Team Ryan right there, right?
He sure is, and I had Schaefer much higher on my board. That is a steal right there at the beginning of the 2nd round coming back.
Yes.
Absolute steal. Ryan Schaefer is one of the most underrated bowlers in the history of the PBA. And I think Sean has a game plan, and I like what he's done thus far. He's sharing the love.
There's a look at the board right now as the picks stand. And we're about to find out who Mike Fagan is going to pick as his number 2.
Best player available on my board right now is Chris Lowshetter. He could go with someone like Jack Jurek or Mike Devaney here. Maybe a Stu Williams, add a little international flavor. Mike's taking his time. It looks like he's writing his pick right now.
I want Mike J to ask Mika about those reading glasses. And Weber, too. I don't care about the picks. I want to know where they got those glasses.
Absolutely.
All right, looks like Mike Fagan's ready with the pick.
All right. Down to the commish.
Okay, with the 12th pick in the PBA League Draft, Mike Fagan selects Mike Scroggins. Jason Belmonte is on the clock.
That's a great pick, and I actually ran into Scroggins last night, and I was asking, where do you think you're going to go? And he said, I don't even know if I'm going to get picked. And I said, no, I would bet my life you're going to be at least a 1st or 2nd round, maybe 3rd at worst. And he's like, I don't know, I'm not sure. Well, I'm sure he'll be happy now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As it looks like Mike J has a special guest.
Hey, from one sideline reporter to another, Mike J with Kimberly Pressler. And Kimberly, the preparation already underway for your work at these World Series of Bowling telecasts. Tell us what you're up to.
Well, we covered everything for this week, and we're getting ready for all the finals this weekend. It's going to be pretty amazing. There's been some great bowling going on, and this PBA League Draft is pretty amazing. A worldwide recognition going on right here, and I think it's going to be great for the bowling world.
Hey, who did you have as number 1 going on your pick list?
I honestly thought he was going to pick Wes Malott, but Rhino Page is amazing. I mean, everybody they've picked so far is definitely going to be adding to each team. It's going to be a great league to be in.
Well, definitely adding to our ESPN telecast. Miss USA Kimberly Pressler is going to add some flavor to that telecast. And back to you guys for our next pick.
All right, thanks, Mike J. And there's the clock. 10 seconds left for Mr. Belmonte. He's already got Wes Malott on his team. Let's see who he picks in the 3-hole.
I'm going to just call Mike Devaney here.
I think that's a good call. Would not be surprised whatsoever.
Okay, with the 13th pick of the PBA League Draft, Jason Belmonte selects Andres Gomez. Bill O'Neill is on the clock.
So interesting, Belmonte going with Gomez.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick for them. Those three guys can all play him very similarly. I know Andres and Jason have bowled throughout the world together quite a bit, and they have a good rapport together, good friends.
They're also on the same staff, and Malott as well. So far, Belmonte going with Utah-backed players with Storm and Rotogrip. So Bill O'Neill on the clock. He's already got Mika, and they're making picks together over there, and Mika's actually smiling. He's enjoying this.
Yeah, that's actually one of the cool things is now, you know, if you could strategize a little bit and maybe get the guy you wanted in the first round and then have them help you pick. But what if you don't get the first pick you want in the first round? Does the captain have to become a dictator?
They're both wearing the same jersey, ironically. It's almost like it was meant to be, Jason Thomas.
Right.
Look at this. And they are just smiling.
I think they got the memo.
Then you got Norm Duke and Rhino over there, the two shortest guys in the building on the same team.
All right, looks like they are ready with the pick.
Okay, with the 14th pick in the PBA League Draft, Bill O'Neill selects Chris Loschetter. Pete Weber is on the clock.
Loschetter was the highest guy on my board. I think that's a great value pick there. Chris Lochetter's had an unbelievable World Series of bowling, and I think he's going to fit in well with those two guys.
All right, looks like we got a quick one here. Pete Weber.
Okay, we have our 15th selection. Going to Pete Weber with the 15th pick in the PBA League Draft, Scott Norton.
There it is, Scott Norton, who
Norm Duke, you're on the clock.
We just talked to. He is on a team now. Pete Weber selects Scott second, and along with Tommy Jones. So that's a strong-looking team right there, and now they've got a lefty.
There was a lot of speculation coming into this draft that the right-handers were not going to draft many left-handers. That's totally out the window. It looks like every team is trying to capitalize.
Norm will get 16th and 17th picks.
Okay, so Norm's going to get a double pick here. He's already got his lefty, so I would look for Norm to select two right-handers, as he did state that everybody's got to have a good left-hander. Norm's taking his time. He and Rhino strategizing together. Noticed the older players, the veterans, are just using paper, and the younger bowlers have their laptops.
Yeah. And the older guys tend to have those reading glasses too. To go along with the paper.
And Norm Duke really surprised us today with Rhino Page. Rhino's had an unbelievable World Series, but a lot of people thought Mika was the #1 overall pick, and for him to reach for Page, he's got a plan and a strategy, and I think it's probably going to be the team chemistry is what can vault Norm Duke's team ahead of all the others. Well, they're down to 0, but they get a double pick, so it's not like the pick would go to somebody else anyway. So they can really take their time. They're probably just going to come up with a double pick and send it in accordingly. As Kurt Von Kruger has the pick, he's sharing it with Tom Clark, commissioner of the PBA Tour, and he's having a heyday today. He loves the NBA drafts, and he's ready with the pick.
Okay, with the 16th and final pick of the second round of the PBA League Draft, Norm Duke selects Amleto Monticelli. Norm has the next pick and is on the clock.
Interesting pick there with Monicelli going. I had him going much later in the draft. I thought that was a little bit of a reach there. You could get Monicelli maybe coming back in the next round, but with Norm getting a double pick here, he'll have the 32nd pick. So he wanted Amaletto on his team, and he had to take a choice to pick him, and he did it right there. Interesting that he's determining the salaries for these players as well. Amaletto going in the second round is going to make more money than someone picked in the third round. So Amaletto is going to be very happy about that.
Yeah, and Amaletto bowled really well at the World Series the first year we were there in Detroit, so that probably played into the pick, and he's definitely still got it, and he's still competitive on the senior tour. So you could almost argue that Amaletto can stay sharper than even some of the tour players because he does all that bowling on the senior tour.
Yeah, and his workout regimen is second to none. He's more fit than most of the guys on the regular tour. As we look at Norm and Rhino continue to discuss the pick. All right, looks like the pick is coming in.
Yep. It's on Xtra Frame right now. We'll probably roll it over to YouTube tomorrow. Yeah, you can look at it in the archive.
17th pick, the first pick of the third round of the PBA League Draft. Norm Duke selects Brian Smith. Pete Weber is on the clock.
That's a good pick there by Norm Duke, as I know Chris Barnes thought he was going to select Brian Smith, and looks like Mike J is standing by with Kirk Van Kruger.
And we're now with Kirk Von Kruger, the Deputy Commissioner of the PBA Tour. Kirk, how many players declared themselves eligible for this draft?
Over 140 players did declare themselves for this draft. We got a great response, and we were looking forward to a great draft today, and so far I don't think it's disappointed.
Not at all. In fact, you're just processing each pick to make sure that they match up against that draft list?
Exactly. We have the official draft list. I take the picks from each of the franchise players and just confirm that the name is on the list, and then hand the choice to Mr. Clark, and he announces it. Works great.
All right, time to do another one. Kirk, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Mike.
Gentlemen, back to you.
Very good, sir. So, let's have a look at our draft board here. And you can see Norm Duke has picked 3 players, and he's the only one. And now we're going to work our way down from 2 to 8, and all those players will get to pick their third player as well. Back
The
over to Tom
18th
Clark.
pick in the PBA League Draft, Pete Weber selects Jack Jurek. Bill O'Neill is on the clock.
So Jurek goes. Gentleman Jack, as Mike J likes to call him.
No, we're building some lanes. We're building an arena.
Bill O'Neill is on the clock.
That's awesome.
What a great setting here at South Point, as the players all have their banners in front of them. It's a very unique setting.
Looks like Mike J is over there with Pete Weber. Mike J, take it away.
Thanks, bowling guy. Pete, the team's starting to take shape. What other elements are we looking for?
I'm not real sure. We haven't. We got myself and Tommy right now. Scott, which I have a lot of confidence in him, and Jack. I've known Jack a long time. He's always been a fighter. He bowls good in Detroit. so you know it was hard not to take him. But now it's just up for grabs here. Either another lefty or maybe a tweener in there somewhere. I'm not real sure. We're going to figure it out here because we got plenty of time to do it now.
Team Weber filling things up. Back to Bowling Guy and Mike Flanagan in the booth.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike. And we've got a shot of the draft board here so we can see what the picks have been so far. And now Tom Clark's ready.
Okay, we have the next selection. With the 19th pick in the PBA League Draft, Bill O'Neill selects Mike Devaney. Jason Belmonte is on the clock.
Well, an absolute steal there with Devaney. Devaney, another underrated player out on the tour. Devaney had a good World Series of bowling. And I think he was the best available player on the board as I take him off the top of my list right now.
A little surprised Walter Ray hasn't gone yet, Mr. Flanagan.
I have him going to Rash in this round on my mock draft.
I think that's a good call. And Walter Ray has had a couple rough years the last 2 years, but he's back. He made one of the World Series shows here this week, and he'd be a great steal right now. Who could argue with getting the best player of all time on their team in the 3rd round?
Players that they're going to be looking at here, guys like Patrick Allen, Stu Williams, Ronnie Russell, Parker Bone III. I wouldn't be surprised to see Belmonte take Ildemaro Ruiz here.
I would think he would go with Stewart, to be honest with you. I mean, Ildemaro wouldn't be a surprising choice, but Stewart and he go way back, and wouldn't be surprised to see Belmo take Stewart.
Interesting, too, if Ruiz does fall to Weber coming back for some reason, which I don't believe he will, Weber crossed with him this week. And I know that those two guys bowled really, really well in the last championship this week, the last Animal Pattern Championship.
All right, Mike J's over there with Bill O'Neill and Mika Koivuniemi. Mike, take it away.
Thanks, gentlemen. Bill, the team is starting to take shape.
Yeah, we really like our squad right now. We went with Mike there. You know, we felt that with the longer patterns that we're going to be bowling on in Detroit, you know, it suits Mike's game really well, and you know, we don't feel like he's ever going to hurt you.
And Mika, team competition, you know it fairly well.
I've been bowling a couple of teams my life, and I think Bill is doing a great job for picking the team.
2-time Player of the Year, U.S. Open winner. Things are starting to take shape here in the PBA League Draft.
All right, Mike J. It looks like Tom.
Okay, we have our next selection.
Here we go.
With the 20th pick of the PBA League Draft, Jason Belmonte selects Parker Bone III. Mike Fagan's on the clock. Hold on, eBay.
Well, there's Belmo grabbing his left-hander now. Seems like that's a common trend with each team thus far. As we get a look at Sean Rash with his computer open, Chuck Gardner.
There's a look at the board, too. So updated halfway through round 3 here.
Mike Fagan is on the clock. Who do you think here, Jason Thomas? Who do you think Mike Fagan selects?
Oh man, that's just such. It's moving so fast.
It's
hard to even imagine who the pick is going to be.
It's moving much faster than I thought it would.
We have our next selection. With the 21st pick of the PBA League Draft, Mike Fagan selects Ronnie Russell. Sean Rash is on the clock.
Might have affected Rash's pick a little bit, although Rash did go, off Brunswick there the last round with when he selected Ryan Schaefer. But you got to believe that he's got an eye on his Brunswick buddies who are still left. So Mike J is now over there with Mike Fagan. Mike, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Mike, preparation for this. Is this PBA League Draft what you expected?
No, I mean, there's definitely been some surprise picks out there, in my opinion. I had a draft board going, and I actually had Ronnie going in the 3rd round here, so I'm glad I was able to pick him up.
Sean Rash, his selection says GOAT, and I am reading that as Walter Ray Williams, Jr. All right.
Well, we predicted that up here that that Rash would go with Walter Ray.
And it looks like Mike J's over there with the Brunswick boys. Mike J, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Walter Ray Williams Jr., you got the USA team jacking on, and now you're a part of Team Rash. Good to be part of a team.
It's definitely great to be part of a team. You know, being part of the Brunswick staff, and I know Sean's leading the Brunswick players the last couple of years, and hopefully I can contribute a lot in January and the other events. So looking forward to it. And hopefully I can help set the lanes up for these guys.
Sean, interesting notation on that pick.
Well, Walter's the greatest of all time. You know, he's been out here since 1960 something. You know, he's won titles all over the world. He's been a mentor for me. I look up to him. I respect his game. I think every single one of us would want him on our team. And you know, he does. You know, he does play a little straighter. You know, so far we've got a little rev rate on the team, but you know, if I want someone to throw it for the cheese, I'll take Walter any day.
Greatest of all time is a great addition to any club. Gentlemen, back to you.
All right,
okay,
thanks.
we have the 23rd pick. With the 23rd pick of the PBA League Draft, Chris Barnes selects Stuart Williams. The 24th and 25th picks both will go to Osku Palermo.
So Stu Williams goes to Chris Barnes. I like what Barnes has done this far. He's got Dom Barrett and Stuart Williams and Josh Blanchard.
Yeah, that's like two pair, isn't it? Dom and Stu are like brothers from England, and Josh and Barnes are kind of cut from the same cloth in different generations. And Mike J's with them right now. Let's head over to Mike.
Thanks, guys. Chris, we've got Wichita State grad to your right, and I don't know if there's any opportunity to get an honorary doctorate for Stuart Williams?
No, I don't think so. I think we have a little higher level of education there than Stu's capable of.
But you've added some heavy roll now to this club.
Yeah, you know, we're going with the theory if they can't beat us, then they can come join us. Dom and Stu from the Weber Cup, we got to see them bowl a lot, and you know, they're both very talented players, can play everywhere, and so we feel like that rounds out a pretty nice group for us.
Josh, what's it feel like? It still thumps the heart to get picked for a team, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's nice to get picked, especially by one of the greatest players of all time, and I respect Chris, and we got similar ball rolls, so I'm excited to bowl with him, and I'm really excited to bowl with Dom and Stu, two great international players, good friends of mine, so I'm excited we have a good team so far.
You guys come from the greatest team in collegiate history, ably led by one of the greatest coaches of all time. What did Gordon Vatican say about putting a team together?
What would he say?
Yeah.
He probably loved the concept. He loves the team play atmosphere, and so I think that this would be something he would love. I think he would love to be the coach of a team. I think he'd actually love that more than anything. But he's probably watching right now and wondering what's going on, and he probably is thinking in his mind who he would pick, and just it's an exciting concept.
Team Barnes is taking shape. So is the rest of the PBA League. Back to the booth.
All right, thanks, Mike J. And looks like Tom's ready.
We have our next selection with the 24th pick and last pick of the third round of the first ever PBA League Draft. Osku Palermo selects PA Patrick Allen. Osku's on the clock for his next pick.
Patrick Allen was the #1 guy left on the board, player of the year. Flies under the radar a little bit, Jason Thomas, but now we see Osku picking up his left-hander, and he was able to get his late in the third round. So Osku with a double pick. Ildemaro Ruiz still out there. Brad Angelo, who we're going to see on a telecast. Mike Machuga. Mike Wolf still available.
Okay, with Osku's next pick, the 25th pick and first of the 4th round, he selects Thomas Larson.
Going with a pair of
Chris
Larson.
Barnes is on the clock.
So Osku's team is complete. It's the first team complete. So it's Palermo, Martin Larson, Dan McClelland, PA, and Thomas Larson. What do you think of that team, Jason?
I think it's really good. It's obviously got the international flavor to it. And while we wait for the next pick, let's head over to Mike J., who's with Bob Johnson from Bowlers Journal International.
Thanks a lot, guys, with the editor for Bowlers Journal International. And first of all, thanks for your support of the Scorpion Championship this year.
Bet. Happy to do it.
And your impression as a media member of this PBA League Draft?
Strategy. Hard to tell exactly what some of them are thinking, but everybody's going for a lefty. I think so far everyone has one except Bill O'Neill, if my chart is correct. So yeah, it's interesting to chart the strategy and loyalties on ball brands, all that sort of thing.
And I expect great coverage of this and the oldest publication in the bowling industry and the sports industry as well.
You can count on it.
And we've got a very important anniversary coming up to look forward to next year.
Number 100. I have not been there all the entire time, but yeah, November 2013, 100th anniversary issue. It's going to be big.
And where can I find information? Because I got to get my subscription.
I think you think we got you covered, but go to bowlersjournal.com. It has all the info you need.
Hey, thanks for your support of the Bowlers Journal Scorpion Championship. Bob Johnson from Bowlers Journal, and now back to you in PBA League Draft Central.
Thank you, Mike J., and thanks to Bob Johnson, and thanks for Bowlers Journal for their sponsorship of the Scorpion Open here at the World Series of Bowling. Looks like Tom Clark is ready with the next pick. I just assumed he was ready.
Well,
Mike
he looked ready.
Yeah, every time I've tried to talk, he's been ready.
He's got us. Yeah,
he can't get a word in.
Well, this is the time in the draft, just like a fantasy football draft, where this is where the draft can be won, and guys are going to take their time on these last picks. The players have been doing them in record fashion, so I hope they don't give anybody a hard time here, like Chris Barnes on this last pick. Give them a little extra time. I mean, we're interviewing them and everything else and distracting them, so. Looks like Kirk has got the pick from Barnes and Blanchard. And we're going to hear from the commish yet again as we complete our second team. Everybody's putting their glasses on.
Okay, we have the next selection. With the 26th pick of the PBA League Draft, Chris Barnes selects Nathan Bohr. Sean Rash is on the clock.
Wow, going with the Wichita connection. Once again, 3 Wichitas and 2 Englishmen.
Bohr is a great shot maker, as we've seen him make some telecast. Has yet to really break through, but he's out here competing. Number 10, Nathan Bohr.
Yeah, made his first career PBA telecast last year at the World Series of Bowling, and bowled great this summer. Won a ton of regionals, and maybe a little bit of a late bloomer, but he's definitely blossoming into one of the better, more solid players out here on the PBA Tour.
Yeah, Chris Schlimmer just texted in and says the draft is really interesting so far. So we want to thank everybody for watching us here today at the first ever PBA League Draft Selection Show. It's there's a lot of people packed in here too, Jason Thomas. There's a lot of ambiance. There's a lot of background noise. Barely fit everybody in. It's a good-looking board up there.
There's a look at the board. And six more picks left, Mike?
Yeah, that's it. And then they also have their alternates as well that they have to decide upon. And I'm not even sure, is that decided upon later or now?
That's a good question. We'll find that out and we'll get back to you.
Selection in the PBA League Draft. Sean Rash selects Jason Sterner. Mike Fagan is on the clock.
Well, Jason Sterner, he made his first telecast. He threw 3 shots in the 10th frame to make it to the show. Just the other night, you saw it live on Xtra Frame. The YouTube video clip's out there. Jason Sterner is selected by Sean Rash. Looks like the next pick is already in.
Beautiful. We have our next selection already. With the 28th pick in the PBA League Draft, Mike Fagan selects Jesse Buss. 29th pick is Jason Belmonte. He's on the clock.
Well, Jesse Buss, Wichita State, great bowler. He's got one of the best forms out on tour. He's got all the tools to get it done. Great team player. Recently removed from collegiate bowling. They might look to him to be a leader on that team, as he has just been in the collegiate ranks recently. So that completes Fagan's team. Mike Fagan, Tom Smallwood, Mike Scroggins, Ronnie Russell, and Jesse Buss. Get a look there at the big nasty and the Australian sensation as they're looking over their list.
Almost 29.
Guys left on the board, we have Ruiz, Brad Angelo, Machuga. They're very high on my board right now. Wolf and Hagen as well. Mike Edwards, Eugene McCune.
Yeah, it's starting to get nervous time for these players that haven't been picked yet, isn't it?
Absolutely.
How good did Jason Belmonte bowl this week?
Unbelievable. And what was even more gratifying for Jason is that he brought his whole family over.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been kind of his he always has this edge of melancholy out on the PBA Tour because he's away from his family. But this week his family got to come, and they're going to get to watch a bowl on 3 ESPN telecasts, and that should be awfully exciting.
Yeah, after every round, his daughter was immediately down in the bowler's area, and he was giving her a kiss and playing with her and really letting her be part of the experience. Looks like the commish is just about ready to announce the final pick for Jason Belmonte's team.
Okay, we have our next selection with the 29th pick of the PBA League Draft. Jason Belmonte selects Dave Wadka. You can take a deep breath. The next selection is Bill O'Neill.
Dave Wadka is one of the nicest guys out here on tour, works for Ebonite International, and it looks like we've got immediate feedback here from Mike J., who's standing by with Jason Belmonte.
Thanks, Mike. With Jason Belmonte and the pick of Wadka, how is your team shaping up and what's left to pick?
Yeah, it's been really difficult. I actually came here thinking it was going to be a little easier, to be honest. But, you look at those list of names, and right then, Wes and I were just discussing there was 3 potential names that we could pick from. The shot clock ran out, and I basically just went with a gut feeling. You know, I think Dave is the kind of guy who he's going to give you a pretty solid performance. He's definitely got the passion and the drive. Just talking to him, you know that this is going to mean a lot to him as well. So, hopefully we all gel as a team, and I have no reason why that we can't excel. I think I've got a pretty well-rounded team. Everyone that I'm really happy with all of my decisions.
All right, Jason happy with his team. It goes from paper to the board to the lanes in January. Back to you.
Okay, so we're waiting for a pick from Bill O'Neill, which I'm going to go ahead and just go out on a limb and say he's going to select Anthony Lacaze.
I think that's a good call.
This would be a good opportunity for Motive to get on the board also, as Motive has become a larger sponsor of the PBA. Motive Bowling and Lacaze is one of their staff players. Bill O'Neill and Anthony Lacaze have history at Saginaw Valley State.
Selection in the PBA League Draft. Bill O'Neill selects Dick Allen.
Wow, we talked about Motive.
Weber is on the clock.
Dick Allen, also a Moto staffer, so we had it half right, Jason Thomas.
Yeah, just not the player. And Dick Allen, great pick. Got lots of experience, 3 PBA Tour victories. He's been bowling really well locally in the regional program. So he is a solid player. And I think he has a good chance of keeping that team loose. So Mike J looks like he's over there with Dave Wadka, and we'll send it over to those guys. Mike J.
Thanks, guys. David, made the club your impression.
This is awesome. I'm really happy to be a part of this first PBA League, and thank you to Jason and Wesley for picking me. Looking forward to it. Looks like a great team and should be fun in Detroit.
Hey, what's the tougher position, the picker or the pick-e?
I don't know. Probably the picky. I would say, you know, I see a few other guys standing around too waiting, and it's a little tense just waiting to see if you're going to get picked.
Yeah, what was it like? Was the heart thumping a little bit? What did it feel like when you heard your name?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was like I said, I'm really excited to be part of this for the first one, and it should be a lot of fun.
The greatest players in the world are starting to aggregate into 8 great teams, and you're seeing it live on Xtra Frame. Back to you guys.
All right, Mike J, there's a look at the draft board. 2 more picks left in this 4th round.
I'm happy to see TJ there helping Pete. I don't think Pete was as prepared for these late picks.
Pete Weber's pick is in. With the 31st pick of the PBA League Draft, Pete Weber selects John Zerbinski. Norm Duke is on the clock.
It's really good to see Zerbinski and Buss both get picked. 2 guys that have not broke through on the PBA Tour, but they have the respect of their fellow competitors.
Yeah, and this is a really great experience for those players to be able to get comfortable on a TV show, bowling with the best in the world, and I think being a part of this league draft will help those players break through in singles competition. Now Mike J is over there with Pete Weber for a quick interview. Mike J.
Pete, you broke up the Wichita State reunion going on over there. I noticed Chris Barnes gave you the long, slow nod, picking up Zerbinski.
I've seen him a little bit, but Tommy said he's going to be bowling a lot, and Tommy said that he would bowl with him in anything. So we're taking a chance here on picking John. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
Tommy, you've got tons.
But I do have confidence in Tommy's picks.
Okay. And I was going to say, Tommy, you have a lot of experience on Team USA, and your thoughts as to how this team is shaping up.
Yeah, we have everything covered from Pete and I that want to hook it to Jack that'll go a little straighter, and now we picked up our tweener guy, and you know, everybody that gels together, so that's kind of key in this format.
All right, Team Weber shaping up, Zerbinski going in this column. Back to the booth.
Okay, so you heard it there. Tom's got a pick.
4th round of the first ever PBA League Draft. Norm Duke selects Mike Machuga.
Well, Norm and Mike are very, very good friends, and after every block, they definitely hang out together, and Mike J's got instant reaction by Norm Duke. Mike?
All right,
Thanks.
take it away.
Norm, next level bowling now more greatly represented on this club.
Yeah, both of us are on there, and truthfully, he's watching this live online. He's right next to my clothing. I think he's going to burn my clothes if I don't pick him. So, hi, Mike. How you doing out there?
Norm, how's the team coming together? What do you got covered so far?
You know, I got absolutely everything that I wanted coming in. There's only been one difference from a month ago when we first learned about this. So I get my team, you know, pat, and now I get to choose a 6th player. And there's still some people on here that you know, are desirable. So, yeah, like it.
All right, Norm likes it, and Rhino Page, you're finalist in the PBA World Championship, and against a lot of what some of the experts and the non-experts were saying, your name was first called. Your thought when you heard that?
I was thrilled, actually. You know, Norm and I have developed a really good relationship, and I'm just honored to be the first draft pick. Really am.
Claremont, Florida, Dade City, Florida. Can you feel the sunshine in the room?
My golf buddy.
Okay. Everybody that's here and you see these lineups of 5, I just want to know who's ready to watch this league. Who's ready for this thing? This is going to be a lot of fun. All right, now we have the 6 picks and supplemental picks for each team. Norm Duke's team has the first selection, and they're on the clock.
Okay, so Norm Duke's team is on the clock for the alternate player, who also needs to be selected today. They are drafting the alternate player, so this person will go into play if someone gets injured or Bill O'Neill's wife is due around the time of the Thunder Bowl competition. So if Bill O'Neill for some reason were to go out of competition, his alternate would go into play. I don't know what would happen if 2 guys would miss. That would be a good question. There's lots of questions regarding this brand new concept, as well as the celebrities involved, and just how many shows and the whole makeup and how long it's going to last. But a lot of buzz here as you see all the players taking this very seriously. Norm has 30 seconds on the clock. He is writing down his pick as we speak. As Rhino is giving him a bit of a look there, I can see from this vantage point. And they're talking it over one last time here before. Oh, Norm just turned it in. Oh, and he's not letting go of it. Okay, so this may have been a bit of a disagreement between Rhino and Norm. Norm's laughing. And now over to Tom Clark, commissioner of the PBA Tour, with our pick.
Now we start the supplemental round. With the first pick in the supplemental round, Norm Duke has selected Mike Wolf. And Pete Weber is on the clock. Pete Weber's guys.
Mike Wolf, I had him the highest player available on my board. I actually had Mike going to a team in my mock draft. A little surprised Mike didn't get picked. Oh, we got a second pick.
Pete Weber selects Brad Angelo. And Bill O'Neill is on the clock.
So the supplemental picks are coming in just as fast as the first round picks. As it seems like everybody had a sleeper supplemental pick, or they just want to get it out of the way. But
yeah, maybe they want to go to lunch. No, I'm just kidding.
What's funny, actually, did you see that drink right there? That can you get a camera on Bill O'Neill real quick?
Yeah, there we go.
You see this drink right here?
Uh-huh.
That drink was brought to him courtesy of Wes Malott. A little bribery going on before the draft.
Wow, interesting. Is that a double caramel latte with sprinkles?
Norm Duke just pranced out of the room, trying not to get slapped by anybody here that has not been picked. Some of the players here, Tom Hess is one that is here that has not been selected yet. I would assume Sean Rash would select him with his last pick, but you just don't know. Nobody likes to not get picked, and you know, from the days on the playground to the days on the PBA Tour, I guess.
Yes, I'm very familiar with that, Mike. Don't bring it up, please.
Me too. Me too. I had to bounce the big red ball around by myself. No Foursquare for me. So Weber's team, Tommy Jones, Scott Norton, Jack Jurek, John Zerbinski, and Brad Angelo is their alternate.
Time's up, so time to make the pick. There they go.
Could we see a surprise here, Jason Thomas? I think we're going to have a surprise.
Okay, we have our next selection. With the third pick of the supplemental draft, Bill O'Neill selects Dino Castillo. Jason Belmonte is on the clock.
Dino Castillo, an excellent player, could have easily been drafted on a team. One of the other great guys out here on tour, he and Dave Wadka, both from Ebonite International, two of the good guys on tour. And now Jason Belmonte is on the clock. So O'Neill's team, O'Neill, Mika, Major Mika, Chris Loschetter, Mike Devaney, Dick Allen, and Dino Castillo.
It's a heck of a team.
These players have done a really good job drafting their team.
Yeah, I mean, you look up and down the list, and there aren't any weak teams on that list. It's going to be one heck of a competition come January.
For those that play fantasy football, this is almost like having a draft, an 8-team fantasy football league. You get the cream of the crop, and that's exactly what the players are getting here today at our very first PBA League Draft. Featured in the USA Today yesterday.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of interest out there in this concept, and the celebrities that are involved, they're going to bring a whole new audience to the PBA, and people are going to get to see how incredible these bowlers are. We've got such a great young crop of players, great athletes. They can do amazing things with the bowling ball, and I think this concept could potentially introduce millions of new fans to the sport of bowling.
And how about this? How about a guy like Jesse Buss, John Zerbinski? They're going to get time on television, and that might help them emerge over the next couple of years with feeling more comfortable on television.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Looks like they've got the pick. Just waiting for Tom Clark to make his announcement.
All right, we have the next selection in the supplemental draft. The 4th pick to Jason Belmonte is Ildemaro Ruiz. Mike Fagan is on the clock. Don't worry about it. Oh, my God.
Okay, so Ruiz goes to complete the team. Belmonte, Malat, Gomez, Parker Bone III, Dave Wadka, and Ildemaro Ruiz. Ruiz and Gomez obviously are friends, and I'm sure that if Ruiz is around during, I'm sure that Gomez and Ruiz will be able to feed off of each other, even if Ruiz is just a spectator and a cheerleader.
Mike Fagan intently studying his draft sheet there.
There's a good look at the Tony Reyes patch as well that almost all the players wore this week as we mourn the loss of Tony Reyes. All the players signed the masking unit up over the lanes yesterday. I saw tears, I saw hugs, and I saw a lot of Facebook updates.
Right, and then we also had the auction for the Tony Reyes Memorial Fund, and raised over $7,000 this week here at the World Series of Bowling for that cause, which was really, really great to see.
Shows how generous the players on the PBA Tour are, and as well as the fans of the PBA Tour. It looks like Mike Fagan has turned in his supplemental draft pick, his alternate for his team. So look at the board. And here's the commissioner with the Fagan pick.
Okay, then we have the next pick in the supplemental draft. The 5th pick to Mike Fagan is Kelly Kulik.
Wow. Wow, Mike.
Historic pick.
What a great pick there.
Sean Rash is on the clock.
Wow, unbelievable. Mike Fagan it was the largest eruption for any pick that we've had in here.
Absolutely, and you know what? To be honest, if you're looking at that list, I'm surprised she didn't even go even higher. She is absolutely one of the better players out here on this tour. And right now we've got Mike J, who's over with Mike Fagan to talk about the pick.
Guys, a lot of surprises today, Mike. I didn't know that a supplemental pick would get the biggest applause here today.
You know what? I mean, Kelly obviously has a fantastic resume, and it's when I look down the list, obviously a lot of names have gone, and, I think she has the most experience out of anybody left. So, I'm glad to have her on our squad.
Hey, your team is set. Can you assess now what you have and what you have to work with, and perhaps your first plans? Is it a conference call? Is it a practice session? What's on the Fagan agenda?
Well, I think we've got a good variety of players. I'm very happy with all our selections, and I'm looking forward to a good winter meet.
All right, just a few picks left, and we'll have a full set of 8 teams in the brand new PBA League.
Wow. There it is. Again, I don't think that pick was made as a grandstanding move. I think he just thought that was the best player left in the draft, and that's who he picked.
Yeah, and fellow Everett International staffer also doesn't hurt things, as some of those coin flips come down to ball companies, I'm sure, but being a woman really helped out too.
This was the sixth pick, Raph. Okay, we have the next pick, and just a note, these 6 picks, they will have free entries into the Detroit Winter Swing, so just make sure people know that it's significant to those 6 picks.
That's great.
Webbers have run this tour for years.
Naturally, I'll take credit.
The 6th pick of the supplemental draft, Sean Rash selects Tom Hess. Chris Barnes is on the clock.
I started typing that one before there was even called. Tom Hess is here in the room, and Tom Hess does get selected. No surprise there. I could have seen Tom actually get selected in the first 4 rounds. I had him going in the first 4 rounds, but Rash and Chuck Gardner picking up the pieces there with selecting their fellow Brunswick staffer, Tom Hess.
Yeah, you definitely called that one, Mike, and you and Tom go way back. One of your good buddies out here. I know he was giving you a hard time at the start of the week.
Oh, he gives me a hard time every time we go to a tournament.
7th pick of the supplemental draft, Chris Barnes selects Jonathan Van Hees. Osku is on the clock with the last selection. Boom.
So Barnes selecting Van Hees, another young player, another person that these guys respect out here on the tour. They see every week, they see compete, and just because they haven't made it to too many telecasts doesn't mean that they can't select these players to be part of a great team environment. So
yeah, it's another player that the fans at home haven't seen a lot of.
Exactly.
And he's a great player, and it's going to be an awesome opportunity for Jonathan to be able to showcase his talents on ESPN.
Okay, we have the last selection. Before I make that announcement, I want to thank these franchise players. This was a tough job, a lot of responsibility. A little round of applause for all of these guys. Okay, the last pick of the supplemental draft, Osku Palermo selects Anthony Lacaz. I'll just come up. I'll just say thanks from right here. Coming up.
Okay. So it looks like we're going to throw it down to Mike J. Lane's side with reaction from the commissioner, Tom Clark. Mike J.
Thanks, guys. PBA Tour Commissioner Tom Clark. Is this the way you dreamed it up?
Wow, this is better. I think this was really exciting. I hope everybody watching at home was playing along, checking out who was available, and going to talk about this stuff for weeks to come until we get to start.
Many, many surprises here in the PBA League, and some information that was announced this week that hit the USA Today as things are starting to take shape now for the PBA League.
Yeah, a lot of people are really interested in this, and one of the aspects of this that we didn't talk about today is the celebrity ownership of teams, because there's 4 in place right now. Chris Paul of the LA Clippers, Jerome Bettis of the used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, going to be in the Hall of Fame soon. And both those guys, great bowlers. Terrell Owens, great NFL great. And Kevin Hart, the amazing new actor-comedian who's just taking the country by storm. They've all gotten involved. They love bowling and love the PBA. And that's going to be an added element of excitement for everybody.
Tom, this is getting off the drawing board. It was in the thought process and in the paper and planning process, and now we're seeing the initial steps of this PBA League and what are fans to look forward to as we take it from paper to that board to the lanes at Thunder Bowl coming up in January.
Well, behind the scenes we'll be making uniforms. Every team will have uniforms. Sponsorship is a big part of this, and we'll be aggressively, marketing these teams to corporate America. We want to bring them in. We think they're going to find this very attractive. And that is just the typical preparations for a tournament. We're going to go to Thunder Bowl, a great friend of ours, for this first ever PBA League, and making that center ready and the arena bay ready. It's going to rock when these teams are bowling Baker style against each other.
And then a lot to look forward to here on the online bowling channel with coverage from Thunder Bowl, but also featuring the new PBA League live coming up on ESPN.
Oh, the coverage is going to be unbelievable. It starts January 27th. And it's going to be bowling like people have never seen before, and so we're really excited about that. One thing I wanted to throw in is that there is going to be a trade deadline of December 15th. A lot of people may be wondering about that, so you kind of got the scoop at home. Nobody here knows it yet. December 15th will be the trade deadline for these guys, and if any trades are approved by the PBA, we'll make it happen.
And then finally, before we close up here at South Point Bowling Center, it's not often you get to take off the hat and the responsibility of PBA Tour Commissioner, but I'm going to ask you to do that right now.
Okay.
Speak to me about PBA League as a fan of professional bowling.
Well, I'm just really excited. All I'm thinking about right now is going back to that board to look at the teams, because I want to see who's got the advantage. But I think the way that we did the draft, the serpentine draft, it made it really, really fair. I mean, I think these teams are really evenly matched just in listening to how things were going. And I thought Chris Barnes' team looked really good to me. I was thinking that as we were going along. But how these teams mesh chemistry-wise, how they work together. I know a lot of people came in and they thought that people would just draft along company lines, and obviously that did not happen. These players want to win this thing, and they're doing all they can to win the Elias Cup, which is the grand championship of the first ever PBA League.
Well, a lot of questions were before this PBA League lottery and draft, and we've now seen both on Xtra Frame, and I think we've answered some questions, and there's more questions that are sure to come from this. Your biggest hope as we embark upon this new venture, the PBA League?
My biggest hope is that everybody has fun and just enjoys this thing and loves it. And so more and more fans come and enjoy what's great about the greatest players in the world competing on the lanes. I mean, that's all we're looking for. If more people are having fun, more people are tuning in, more people want to sponsor us, we can put more into this thing and grow the PBA in a way that's never been before. It's really an exciting new era for the PBA.
It definitely is, and you got to watch each and every moment of it today live on the online bowling channel. This is Mike J. Laneside, and that concludes the very first PBA League Draft. Back to my pals in the booth, Mike Flanagan, and the bowling guy, Jason Thomas.
Well, thank you, Mike J. And it is kind of emotional to be a part of this today, Mike. It's a new era for the PBA. It's a very exciting thing that we're doing here. I think the fans are going to get behind it. We have the celebrity owners involved, and the players, I think they're incredibly into it, and we saw that today.
Yeah, let's talk about this draft a little bit. We had 5 left-handers selected, the best 5 left-handers in the world, and we had a left-hander get selected first. Was that a bit of a surprise for you to see Rhino Page selected first by Norm Duke?
I personally wasn't all that surprised about it because I had some insider information on that
Oh,
one.
okay, you weren't sharing it with me.
But I wouldn't have been too surprised to see any number of other players go first, and I think Norm was so coy about it because he didn't want people to know who he was going to pick, and I think he shaped a little bit of who ended up getting picked in the draft. But
definitely. I mean, I think the big winner there was Bill O'Neill being able to select Mika Koivuniemi in the first round. I'm sure he didn't think that he was going to be able to select him there.
Well, it was a great show. I hope you guys at home enjoyed it. There's going to be a lot of arguments and debates happening on the internet, and for people going to PBA.com and on our Facebook pages, it's going to be an exciting time coming out of this World Series and leading into the league draft, the PBA League. So.
Yeah, and with these celebrities, the fans at home need to realize the PBA is trying real hard with this one. These celebrities have huge fan bases, and they're going to be talking about bowling. We saw it in the USA Today already. And Jeff Reese, Tom Clark, those guys are smart guys. And designing this league concept, and there's so much buzz with the players, the fans, and now these other sports teams and sports markets. It's going to be unbelievable. Like, what color jerseys are they going to pick? Does Jerome Bettis get to decide, or does Mike Fagan get to decide? It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be so much fun. And then Tom Clark, he says, by the way, there's a trade deadline.
Right. So who's going to be traded?
We didn't even know about that.
Oh my gosh, I forgot to pick that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it is incredibly exciting. We could probably sit here and talk about it all day. but we're going to have to sign off. This is our last broadcast here from the World Series of Bowling. 80+ hours of coverage. We had a fantastic event all week long. We're going to be taping the ESPN finals on Saturday and Sunday, so if you're in the area, tickets are free. There's still tickets available, so you can come down and watch the shows. We'd love to have you. And then the shows will begin airing on ESPN starting December 9th, and then the players will be back on tour again with this league concept starting in January. So I'm the bowling guy for Mike Flanagan, for Mike J. Laneside, for Commissioner Tom Clark, Kirk Von Kruger, and the cast of thousands that was able to put this show on today for you guys watching at home. We'll see you soon. Stay tuned to Xtra Frame. Be sure to tell all your friends to get their subscription and what they're missing, all the great bowling action.